Well, hello YouTube friends. Does anybody out there remember who I am? If you don't, I guess it's my own fault because I've been off of YouTube for a long time now. I can't remember how many months it's been, but it's been too long. And the main excuse I have for being off so long is I've just gotten plain lazy in my old age. And if you don't remember, I'm past 70, and back in November I turned 72, so I've got a good excuse that I can blame it on just laziness of old age. But no, I've been busy. Many months. I'm still working part-time. Well, it's really considered a full-time job, but if you remember way back, I retired from my engineering job and took up school bus driving for our local city school system. So I'm still doing that. That occupies me somewhat. It's not like having to go into an 8-hour day job, but it does occupy about 4 hours a day of my time during the months that school is in session. So that could be excuse too, I guess. Now I have another excuse. Back, I guess it was about June of last year. You know me, if you've watched my videos, I love making videos, and I love anything to do with recording and things like that, and fooling with editing software and all that. But I've always had a kind of a photography bug my whole life. I've never had a real good camera. I've had cameras on and off of different types through the years, but never a real good camera. And for sure, I've never had a real good digital camera. So about June of last year, I got the bug real bad, and dug into my bank account and bought a good bit of Sony photography equipment. And I knew very little about using a high-end camera, so I've spent those months, and I'm still spending time learning how to use the equipment that I've bought. And I'll tell you a little bit about that as I try to get back active here on YouTube. But anyway, that's occupied me. I've really enjoyed learning. One of my favorite things, if you've listened in the past, you know one of my favorite things is learning new things. I enjoyed learning about video, making videos here on YouTube, and the software you have to that you can use to edit those videos. And it's just an enjoyment, especially at my age, to still be able to learn new tricks. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I'm learning a few new tricks, but it's slow. And for sure, when people say it's a bit harder to learn after you're older than it is when you're younger, that's true. I haven't gotten real bad yet, but it's a little bit harder than it used to be to learn new things. So that's where I've been to. And I've heard from so many of you, and I've tried to answer you back on comments, and I've received a few messages and emails, and I've tried to answer you back, especially my old time viewers that go back 10 years. I guess this is my 11th year, I think, maybe my 12th year on YouTube. I can't remember, it's been so long. I started way on back in the early days of YouTube, and I've been on and off through all these years and months and years and time, but haven't been as active as I should have been. But I still hear from some of the very first people who subscribed to my channel those 10, 12 years ago, whatever it's been. And I still enjoy hearing from you guys. And I'm sorry I've been such a bad channel host through the years by not keeping up. But I think of a lot of all you guys. And new subscribers, I don't really go out and seek subscribers, and especially being off these last many months. You'd think my subscriber list would dwindle away. And I can't tell you right now what, I think it's in the mid 2000s right now, maybe around 2,500 or something like that. But it's amazing to me that YouTube publishes a thing on your YouTube channel that lets you know kind of how your channel is doing, how many subscribers you haven't signed up and all that. And it amazes me, they do it a month at a time, that if I go back and look a month ago, I might gain, say, 50 subscribers in 1 month. And that's been pretty consistent lately. And a lot of those subscribers are coming from an old video I made about hearing Elvis singing at an auditorium in Memphis, Tennessee, a year after he had died. So those people are still watching that old Elvis video. And it's all true. If you want to look it up, it's something strange occurrence in Memphis, Tennessee, or unexplained happenings in Memphis, Tennessee. But all you new folks that have come to the channel because of the Elvis video, I welcome you to the channel too, and I'm glad to have you watching. And I apologize to you too for not having new videos updated and published recently. I should be ashamed even more because I have some of the best equipment now that I've ever had since I've been on YouTube. I started out like most people with a what they call it, a video cam, a little, I can't remember what we called them back in the old days. Just a plug-in camera that plugged into your computer, or a camera that was built into your computer. And I've progressed through the years, and I've finally gotten some fairly decent video equipment. And I've started to make a video like this, I guess, a half dozen times over the past month or so. And I think I've about forgotten how to make a video, or it gets away from you when you don't do it for a while. And I've sat down and started to make one, and something would fail, or something make a noise, or someone would ring me on the phone, and I wouldn't finish the video. So I've had several put back, kind of like this one. It was kind of an update video that I was going to talk to you again. But this has been my hardest time to try to get back on YouTube and get active that I've had in those 10, 12 years, for all those reasons I just told you. And the other day, believe it or not, I've been doing some local photography that I'll tell you about as time goes by. But I had a event that I'd been asked to cover. I'm not a professional photographer, I'm still learning. And most of my photography so far has been free, without charge. And anyway, I'd asked to come and film an event, and I was getting ready for it. And I have some little memory cards that go inside my good exchangeable lens photography camera, the old Sony. And I was going to clean up those memory cards so I would have plenty of space on them for that night. And I won't go into the whole thing, but I have a wall split unit air conditioner in my office or studio, or whatever you want to call it here. It's out in my barn out behind the house, but it's a modern barn. It's air conditioned. And I had my laptop sitting over kind of under that air conditioner. And we've had some real cold weather around here lately, freezing, one of the worst winters we've had in a long time. It's not bad right now. Let's see, it's 70 degrees outside right now. And a day or two ago, we had 80 degrees here in the deep south. That's something I didn't do when I started the video. That shows how rusty I've gotten. I always say who I am and where I am. So I'll say that right now. I'm Messabout1, and my real name is Richard Matthews, and I'm located in the deep south of the United States, for those people that are not in the United States, in a small rural town of 15,000 called Scottsboro, Alabama. It's in the northeast corner of Alabama, and the county is called Jackson County, after our former Indian fighter and President Andrew Jackson. And our whole county here is kind of in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. We have a bunch of mountains and valleys, a big river, the Tennessee River runs through here. And anyway, that's where I am and who I am. And I think the population of our county is a rural county still. We have about a total of about 55,000 people in the county. Now, how did I get off on that tangent? Shows you I'm not doing real good. But anyway, I was telling you about the new equipment and doing the photography and things that I've got going, and that my equipment is improved. And anyway, the story about the laptop, that air conditioner had frozen up some ice in the outlets of it, When I came in the office and the temperature started going up, that ice in the outlets is a wall-mounted air conditioner. It's a little split unit. I think the thing is called a, what is it called? I can't read it from here. Advent, I believe, is a little Chinese-made air conditioner, a little split unit. But that thing started leaking water, and it couldn't have been over a tablespoon of water dripped on the keyboard of my laptop. And I had a real good Dell. It was old. I'd had it for half a dozen years, I guess, but it was still a good computer. Dripped on the keyboard of my laptop, shorted something out on the motherboard, and it was toast. It was toast. I took it apart. I'm not a computer technician, but I know a little bit about mechanical things and electronic things. So I took it apart and couldn't come up with exactly what was wrong with the motherboard. But the thing had two fairly good sized hard drives in it. So I did retrieve my hard drive and was able to retrieve everything that was on those two hard drives, which was a big thing, a big bonus, something I worried about. So I didn't lose any data. And I have those little, I wish I could reach it, but it's out of my reach. Took those little hard drives out and mounted them in an external case, and then have another Dell computer that I can plug those in. And I've been working to get back where I was on my computer. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to edit this video on the computer that I'm trying to get working over here and see how that goes. But anyway, that's kind of where I've been. My health, a lot of people has asked about my health, and it's been good. Again, if you've watched my videos much, you know I had some health problems back a couple of years ago, but most of those have leveled out, so I'm pretty good, still pretty good shape for an old man. For a long time, if you've watched, you know I did a whole lot of walking, and I was working out at the gym. And over this last year or year and a half, I guess due again to being lazy, I'm not walking as much and not exercising as much, and gained a little weight. I think my weight's up maybe from what it was when I was last on, maybe up maybe 10 pounds, I guess about 10 pounds. So I've got to work on that. Maybe you guys here on YouTube can help me with that, to encourage to get me walking again, get me exercising again, and get me eating right again. But other than that, everything is going pretty good. The family's still healthy. Haven't had any major problems there. If you have watched in the past, you know that I have two daughters. One daughter is a teacher, and the other daughter is my adopted daughter, is just now a junior in high school, and next year she'll be a senior in high school. So that keeps us busy too. I've been getting around and trying to get her prepared to go off to college, make applications to different colleges. And this month, let's see, in March, I believe it is, they have a break here in school, and we plan, my daughter and I plan to go on a road trip and drive up the East Coast. Got a lot of things going there. What else? I'm about to run out of things, and it shows how out of touch I am, or out of practice I am. You know, in the past I could sit here and talk for an hour, hour and a half, and not have any problem. So I'll get back in the habit of it, I guess. Oh, one more thing. Somebody, several people have mentioned it way on back, and this is again some old videos that people still enjoy watching for whatever. But I had a series way on back, and I never did finish the thing. I was going to tell stories that I remembered from the time I was born to the time I guess got out of high school, or maybe graduated out of college or something. And I just, I'm so long-winded, I didn't get very far along. Even after, I think I went maybe 12 episodes or something, and I'd not even gotten out of grade school or in grade school. But somebody said they wanted me to start back. I call it the Dixie Raising Series. And I think my title was something like Stories of Me Growing Up in the Deep South in the 50s and 60s. And I enjoyed making those things, but there again, got out of the habit of doing it. But somebody told me the other day that the #2 episode that I made, and I went back and looked at it, and I know why it happened, but the video is still up, but the audio is blanked out. You can't hear the audio on it. And I think what happened there is maybe I might have had a little tune in there that had some copyright problems. And at one time, YouTube would just turn the audio off if you had a problem with your copyright on your video. And I think they turned the audio off on that #2 episode. So what I want to do and plan to do is go back and remake #2 episode of Dixie Raisin. So that's in the plans too. And I guess that's about it for right now. I hope the next thing I do, if this upload's okay and edit's okay and all that, and if you've noticed in the background, I'm sitting in front of my green screen that I've had up for years and years, and I've put little photographs up there that kind of tied in with what I've been telling in this video. If you've watched the background, you've seen some of the things, maybe some photos that I've taken over the past, since June of last year, maybe some other little bits of information. I always like to have something instead of just having it's enjoyable to me to play with the green screen, but I always like to have something in the background except the same old blank wall or messy. I've got a desk over here, it's so messy you'd laugh if you saw it. I may get around and show some of that, but I also like to do things on the green screen. So that's it. This is Messabout1, and I'm still down in the deep south, and I still enjoy YouTube, and I still enjoy all you folks that have put up with me for however many years, some of you 10, 12 years, some of you 5 or 6 years, some of you just the last few months. But thank you for watching my channel. You know, I've thought about, there's been a thing going around YouTube about Google or YouTube is modifying their partner program. Now, I've been a partner for I don't know how many years, and I've made some money off of YouTube through the years. Not a lot, but some money. But I've thought about just making my videos with no ads, even though I'd still be qualified to remain as a partner. It's such a small amount. I've thought about making some videos where you don't have to watch that ad at the start or the middle of it or the end of it. And I may do that, just kind of do this for a hobby channel, an enjoyment channel, and don't try to make a lot of money off of it. I never made a lot of money off of YouTube. Some people have done well. And some people think with 2,500 subscribers and a lot of views per month, you make a good bit of money, but not true in my case. So that's another thing I'm thinking about. Okay, I'm going to turn it off, and my little computer I'm going to try is right over to my left. I'm going to take it off the camera, put it in the computer, and I'm still using Sony Vegas to edit with. I've enjoyed Sony Vegas. I think mine is Sony Vegas Pro 12 that I'm using to edit now. And I enjoy doing that instead of just taking it straight off the camera and straight into the upload. It gives me a little chance to improve it, and it needs it probably. Okay, thanks for putting up with me, and thanks for watching this video. I hope you'll comment. I hope I get a few views. I may not always say that, and usually I'll end up 200 or 300 views on videos I put up. If you're an old-time viewer, let me know in the comments. If you're a new viewer, let me know in the comments. I need to make a list of well, that'd be a big list, wouldn't it? 2,500. So I guess I better not do that. Start saying make a list of my subscribers, but that's hard to do. Maybe I can give a shout out on some of the new ones, and maybe some of you older, long-time subscribers, I can give you a shout out if you comment at the bottom. Messabout1, Scottsboro, Alabama. And today is, let's see, it is Friday, February the 23rd at 6:18 p.m. is the time and location, and temperature 70 degrees. Okay, bye. Thanks for putting up with me. I'll talk to you later, I hope. Bye.